In a distant future, Captain Jake Hartman encounters Veyra, a mysterious alien seeking help to deliver vital components through the perilous Nebulosa Or. Their mission unveils a sinister plot threatening the galaxy, forcing them to confront their beliefs and alliances. In a universe where choices shape destinies, what price will they pay for freedom? Don't forget to subscribe. 91% of viewers enjoy our content but forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with our daily sci-fi stories and support a dedicated team of storytellers and content creators who rely on this as their livelihood. In a distant future, the Barnard Star spaceport pulsated with an eclectic blend of life and commerce, an epicenter of intergalactic trade. The air buzzed with vibrant exchanges, traders haggling over rare elements and merchants showcasing exotic wares from across galaxies. Twinkling lights from assorted starships flickered like distant stars against the backdrop of rich black space, all under the gaze of a brilliant nebula sprawling in the distance like an artist's brushstroke upon the fabric of the void. Among the chaos, Captain Jake Hartman leaned against the polished hull of his ship, the Ulysses. A man whose rugged features spoke of countless battles, he bore a disheveled look from days of travel. The stubble on his chin mirrored the myriad trails of space dust across his rugged jacket. His fingers traced the familiar contours of the ship he had called home for years, a sanctuary amid the tumult of his relentless pursuits. With sharp blue eyes that could slice through the haze of doubt and an unwavering resolve, Jake stood as a seasoned mercenary, often reluctant but usually confident when it came to navigating both the cosmos and human uncertainty. But as he prepared to retreat to the nearest tavern in search of a drink, an unexpected presence broke through his evening contemplation. A striking alien approached, a once-in-a-lifetime vision against the colorful backdrop of the spaceport. She possessed emerald skin that seemingly glowed under the flickering lights, framing features that radiated both elegance and latent danger. Her luminous, multifaceted eyes seemed to absorb the world around her, reflecting a galaxy of secrets barely glimpsed. "Jake Hartman, I presume?" Her melodic voice sliced through the din, a haunting harmony amidst the cacophony. "Who's asking?" Jake narrowed his eyes, instinctually defensive. He had learned long ago that not all who approached him with requests meant well. "I am Veyra, of the Asara. I have a proposal that just might interest you." Jake edged his stance, body language taut. "Not interested," he replied, gruffly masking an insatiable curiosity that tugged at his chest. "I don't take ordinary jobs." "Ah, but this," Veyra stepped closer, the air around them charged with an electric energy, "is no ordinary job. I need you to transport critical components to a research station hidden within the Nebulosa Or. The reward could change your life forever." The mere thought of those components sent his heart racing like the engines of the asterisk Ulysses when launching into the cosmic blue. But with this exhilaration came the memory of danger lurking like voracious predators among the stars. "What's in it for you?" he probed, skepticism draping over him like a cloak. "An alliance." She paused, her voice dropping to an urgent whisper. "The fate of our worlds is at stake." The weight of her words settled around them, an invisible tether that ensnared Jake's attention. Against his better judgment, curiosity ignited within him, compelling him to nod. "All right, let's do it." With that, the stage was set, destinies entwined as they plunged into the unknown realms of space and time. Days later, the Ulysses glided through the obsidian depths of space, surrounded by impossibly distant stars. Jake's emotions whirled as if caught in a cosmic cyclone. He glanced at Veyra, who was engrossed in her advanced star Chapter 2. Confrontation in the dark void days melted together as the Ulysses sailed through the infinite expanse of the cosmos. Each second was marked by the mechanical hum of the ship and the flickering lights of the control panel that cast shadows across Jake Hartman's rugged face. Outside, the stars sprawled like diamonds bursting through black velvet, their distant glow offering solace amidst the uncertainty that gnawed at him. Snake-like tendrils of anxiety wrapped around his thoughts, whispering warnings of dangers that lurked ahead. Jake stole glances at Veyra, who was perched at her console, poised and formidable. The golden threads of her ethereal gown danced around her as if they had a life of their own. Her emerald skin shimmered incandescently against the dim light of the cockpit. As she studied the flickering star charts, Jake couldn't help but admire the way the fabric of her culture clung to her, a blend of elegance and purpose. Yet, his admiration was thinly veiled by an undercurrent of unease. Veyra had spoken of a disturbance ahead, and her repeated focus cast shadows across her usually confident demeanor. "Hey," he ventured, leaning back in his pilot seat, attempting to pierce the veil of her introspection. "You all right over there?" The shift in her posture was subtle, but Jake noticed it immediately, the way her fingers ceased their dance over the controls, the slight tightening of her jaw. "There is a disturbance ahead," she replied, her voice steady but laced with an undercurrent of tension. "I sense danger, a formidable presence." Before Jake could respond, the eerie tranquility was shattered by the shrill blare of alarms. The ship's AI crackled through the air with urgency, incoming scanner contact. The voice was rattled, an unsettling note that eroded the calm he had sought. His pulse quickened as an interceptor-class pirate ship materialized from the ether, its obsidian hull glinting coldly against the stars. Insects scurried on its decks, their insectoid bodies reflecting the ship's light with predatory hunger. He'd crossed paths with countless pirates across the galaxy, but the sinister energy that surrounded this one felt distinctly threatening. The marauders had a dangerous look, their eyes glowed with the anticipation of conquest, and sleek weapons were drawn and poised for destruction. "Get ready," Jake barked, gripping the controls tightly, adrenaline surging through him. "We had to outsmart them." "Trust me," Veyra replied, her calm fortitude in stark contrast to the chaos that unfurled. Her eyes glimmered with determination as she focused on the incoming threat. Jake could sense an unfamiliar power coiling around her, a manifestation of her abilities that pushed back against the oppressive atmosphere. As the pirate ship launched a barrage of laser fire, Jake maneuvered the Ulysses with expert precision, dipping and spiraling like a dancer among the stars. "I'm not sure we can hold them off," he admitted, as the hull vibrated under the splintering sound of the impact of laser hits, each strike sending tremors through his body, igniting the debris of panic within him. But Veyra remained steadfast. "We must unite our strengths," she commanded, closing her eyes, her form radiating a soft glow. "Focus on their leader." Jake fought the instinctive urge to panic, to run, and instead steered the ship toward the source of the threat, locking in on the target. A commander perched at the helm of the interceptor, barking orders at the marauding crew. The sight of him, adorned in jagged armor and bristling with weapons, sent a shiver down Jake's spine. "Now, Jake," Veyra's voice broke through his haze of fear. With a heart full of defiance and daunting resolve, Jake aligned the ship, moving in unison with Veyra's powers. As ethereal tendrils burst from Veyra, shimmering like starlight, they intertwined around the commander's mind, wrapping him in a vice of psychic energy. The waves of her psionic onslaught burst forth like an expanding nebula, clouding his judgment and leaving him vulnerable. Simultaneously, Jake activated the Ulysses' cannons. The roar of energy surged through the ship as he unleashed a volley of shots aimed directly at the interceptor's core. The simultaneous impact of psychic energy and laser fire caused a cataclysmic explosion, igniting blinding shades of color that frequently melted into the void. The pirate ship spiraled into the emptiness, debris scattering like fallen stars, a testament to their combined prowess. Breathless and exhilarated, Jake and Veyra shared a fervent glance, a silent confirmation of an unbreakable bond formed in the fire of conflict. A connection that extended beyond their different worlds, each finding strength in the other. Yet beneath their triumph lay an unspoken knowledge of the enigma that still loomed, the unseen currents within the deep reaches of space holding secrets yet to be uncovered. Veyra, still radiant and fierce, caught her breath. They were but a distraction. Something darker hides deeper within the Nebulosa Or. The name hung in the air like an unholy incantation. The veil of mystery and danger cloaked the cosmic tapestry ahead, a surging tide that beckoned them into its arms. Shadows rippled against the vibrant nebula, swirling with a tantalizing blend of colors that could mask tenebrous intentions lying dormant. The vast expanse before them held myriad possibilities, both beautiful and terrifying. Where are we headed next? Jake's hands adjusted the controls, steadying the ship as they plotted a course. I have a destination in mind, Veyra said, her expression grave yet resolute. But we must prepare ourselves. The forces that dwell here may not take kindly to our presence. With a gentle nod, Jake's heart quickened at the thought of venturing deeper into the Nebulosa Or, a confusing blend of excitement and trepidation coursing through him. The cockpit was filled with a thick sense of determination. Their next steps would undeniably decide the fate of worlds. As the Ulysses journeyed deeper into the nebula's embrace, electrical storms sparked menacingly around them, illuminating the chaotic beauty of the cloud, and within that kaleidoscopic tableau, darker intentions flickered like a whispered promise of doom. Abruptly, their ship was rocked by a sudden tremor, an unnatural force battering against them. Veyra, Jake exclaimed, bracing himself against the control panel, the cockpit shaking violently as they traversed through the tempest shadows. I can sense it. Veyra's voice raised, a keen edge breaking through the din. We're being drawn into a gravitational pull. Alarms blared again, and the Ulysses shook as if possessed. Jake struggled to regain control, his mind racing. Chapter 3. Revelations in Nebulosa Or with the echoes of the battle behind them. Jake and Veyra finally navigated to the sparkling veil of Nebulosa Or, its swirling colors both mesmerizing and foreboding. The nebula pulsated with a vibrant energy, each hue shifting and intertwining like cosmic whispers. Dark purples contrasted with glowing greens, and Jake felt the ship's hull shiver as they pierced through the dense cosmic mists. As they approached their destination, a heavy silence enveloped them, stifling the always-present hum of the Ulysses. The cockpit felt electric, charged with a tension that made Jake's skin prickle. What's wrong? Jake looked to Veyra, sensing a shift in her aura, the luminescence of her skin flickering with unease. The tranquility of Nebulosa Or seemed to press against their minds, begging their focus yet slipping tantalizingly out of reach. This place. It holds within it the key to devastating power, Veyra whispered, her eyes wide with realization as if the nebula itself whispered secrets only she could hear. Many have sought it, and many have vanished. Jake clenched the control panel, his knuckles widening. Then we need to keep our wits about us. The thought of the imminent unknown sent a jolt of adrenaline through him. As anxiety twisted in his gut, he maneuvered the ship closer to their dock, the shimmering metallic surface of the space station coming into view, glinting like a jewel amidst the cosmic chaos. As they docked, a shadowy silhouette approached, their enigmatic ally, the coordinator Khan of the hegemonic alliance. He emerged from the shadows, tall and imposing, draped in a cloak that shimmered like the nebula itself, reflecting myriad colors. His eyes, dark and piercing like black coals, held within them a glint of something both enticing and sinister. With an air of authority, he extended a hand toward them. "Welcome," he said, his voice smooth yet laden with an undercurrent of tension. "You have arrived just in time to witness the birth of a new era." "What do you mean?" Jake felt trepidation creeping in like the tendrils of darkness surrounding them. "There is a machine known as the Crucible," Khan continued, stepping closer, his voice low and conspiratorial. "It possesses the ability to control entire systems, and I want you to be part of it." Veyra tensed, her heartbeat quickening as if she could already sense the malignant force thrumming beneath their feet. "You plan to use it for oppression," she stated, her voice steady but betraying her uncertainty. Khan smirked, his lips curling in a way that reminded Jake of a predator about to ensnare its prey. "Power is a necessary evil. Join me, and you will be rewarded beyond your imagination." A flicker of doubt and confusion passed through Jake. He glanced at Veyra, the weight of her gaze tangible, a mirror reflecting the turmoil swirling within him. Could they dare align with this man, this embodiment of their fears? "We'll never align with tyranny. We fight against it," he shot back defiantly, the fire in his voice igniting a spark in Veyra's eyes. "Indeed, the spirit of rebellion runs strong in you," Khan hissed, his demeanor shifting as the shadows around him deepened. "Then prepare for consequences." As the shadows thickened, Jake and Veyra sensed the impending conflict brewing, a call to arms for the galaxies seeking freedom. Both of them exchanged a determined look, the bond between them solidifying, a tether of shared destinies entwined at that very moment. The dimly lit hallways of the station echoed with the distant sound of machinery, underscoring the sense of urgency they felt. "We need to locate the Crucible before he can use it," Veyra urged, her voice sharpened by fear and determination. "Right," Jake nodded and motioned for her to follow as he led them into a corridor that pulsed with dim light. The walls glimmered as though embedded with crystalline shards, each step resonating with a rhythmic hum. Sweeping through the corridor, they stumbled upon a control room, the air thick with anticipation. They could see rows of holographic displays flashing with data, but their momentary relief was interrupted by a sudden alarm blaring throughout the station, sending vibrations through the floor. "Security breach. All personnel report to designated stations." The cold voice of the station's AI pierced through the din, filling the air with urgency. The overhead lights flickered ominously, casting long shadows that seemed to loom as if anticipating the chaos to come. "Damn it, we've been compromised," Jake swore, the weight of realization crashing down around them like asteroid fragments raining from the sky. "We need to move." Just as they turned to flee, a cadre of armed enforcers stormed into the room. Clad in sleek, dark armor that seemed to absorb light, their eyes glinted with malice. "There they are," the lead officer barked, raising a blaster, a cruel smile splayed across his face. "Veyra," Jake yelled, adrenaline pumping through him as he reached for his sidearm. "Get ready." In a seamless choreography born out of necessity, Veyra instinctively raised her hands, illuminating the confines of the room with swirling energies. Ethereal tendrils of light emerged, cutting through the encroaching shadows, wrapping around the enforcers in a blatant defiance of their authority. "Now, Jake," she commanded, determination etched in her features as the raw power swirled around her. With a precise aim and a steady hand, Jake unleashed a volley of pulsating energy from his weapon, striking the lead enforcer. The impact sent the armored figure crashing into his comrades, a domino effect that toppled the assault into a chaotic brawl. Jake and Veyra fought, entrusting their fates to one another, syncing their moves like a seasoned duo. Back toward the docking bay, Jake shouted as they battled through the onslaught, using the chaos to find an escape route. Amid the clamor of blaster fire and psychic energy, they pushed their way through the fray, adrenaline coursing through their veins as they deflected beams of energy and incapacitated foes in a whirlwind of combat. Shadows danced around them, flickering in the strobe light of chaos. Just as they burst into the nightmarish hallways of the station, the dim light flickered again, and the air crackled, growing thick with the tension of an unseen presage. They skidded to a halt in an expansive chamber, vast and circular, adorned with colossal holograms of celestial maps unfurling before them. In the center stood the crucible, dwarfed by the enormity of the room. It was a massive machine, its sleek surface riddled with Chapter 4. The battle for freedom within the desolate halls of the abandoned installation. Alarms echoed like sirens of doom, a harbinger of the chaos that was about to unfold. The pulsating red lights cast eerie shadows against the cold metal walls, illuminating the tension in Captain Jake Hartman's eyes as he glanced at Veyra, the luminous Asara whose strength had become a beacon amidst the pervasive darkness. "Stick close," Jake shouted, adrenaline propelling him forward as they darted through the corridors, the air thick with uncertainty and dread. Every step felt like a drumroll heralding the clash between freedom and tyranny. Veyra, her emerald skin shimmering under the harsh lights, leaned close, her voice barely above a whisper. "We need to locate the crucible and destroy it, but we must devise a plan first." Her luminous eyes glowed with an inner fire, the intensity revealing a resolve that matched Jake's own. Suddenly, a booming voice erupted, shaking the walls and reverberating deep into their core. "You cannot hide forever, Captain Hartman." The cruel laughter that followed sent chills down Jake's spine, igniting a fire of defiance within him. "We won't let him win," he declared, shaking off the foreboding feeling, his pulse quickening. Determination etched across his face, he took the lead down the narrow, winding corridors, the two of them silently vowing to reclaim their future, the future of countless innocent worlds. Less than 100 meters down the corridor, their journey brought them to a monumental door, adorned with symbols of ages long past. Its ancient structures somehow felt alive, thrumming like a heartbeat echoing in time with the chaos outside. This was it, the heart of the installation, where Khan's grotesque ambitions took shape. They exchanged resolute glances. With a swift kick, Jake slammed his boot against the door, sending it crashing open. The command center loomed before them, bathed in an ominous azure light, surrounded by screens flickering with chaotic data streams revealing plans for tyranny that seemed to span light years. In the center of the chaos stood Khan, exuding an aura of chilling power. His raven-black robes contrasted sharply with the vibrant skies of Nebulosa Or, making him appear like a shadow birthed from nightmare itself. "Welcome, trespassers," he sneered, a cruel smile stretching across his face. "You've come just in time to bear witness to the birth of my empire." Jake's heart raced as he searched for a way to confront the sinister figure before them. "This ends now," he declared, his voice steady despite the tempest of fear swirling within him. "You think you can defy me?" Khan hissed, advancing with a predatory grace. "You, a mere mercenary, are no match for the power I wield." Instinctively, Veyra stepped forward, her hands raised, eyes narrowing in focus as she attempted to warp Khan's mind using her psionic energy. Ethereal tendrils of light shimmered around her as she concentrated, targeting the source of his dark empowerment. "Your reign of terror is over," she exclaimed, the energy swirling violently in the air, shimmering against the oppressive silence. But Khan was prepared. A dark shield enveloped him, repulsing Veyra's psychic attack and causing a backlash that sent a shockwave through the center. Veyra staggered, breathless, but Jake instantly caught her, his resolve unwavering. "Focus, Veyra. We can't give up," He pulled her to her feet, their shared determination channeling through their intertwined fates. Without hesitation, Jake dashed toward the nearest console, frantically pressing buttons, scanning for control over the facility. Sparks crackled and alarms blared louder as he struggled to find a way to disrupt Khan's plans. The screens displayed warships poised for battle, fleets assembling, a countdown threatening to unleash havoc upon the cosmos. "Damn it, I've never seen anything like this," Jake muttered, frustration coursing through him. "We must destroy the power source." Khan couldn't help but laugh, a sharp sound that cut through the tension. "You really think you can accomplish anything? I possess the means to eradicate your allies, to plunge galaxies into chaos. This facility is the heart of that power." As Jake's fingers hovered over classified systems, a sudden thought struck him. "Veyra, distract him. I need a few more seconds." He gestured toward Khan, who, despite his confidence, looked momentarily surprised by the unexpected audacity of the pair. With fierce determination, Veyra took a step forward, her energy forming a radiant barrier. "I am more than you can comprehend, Khan," she shouted, gathering all the strength she could muster, the air crackling with raw power. Khan sneered, launching a psi-energy attack toward her, but Veyra met the onslaught head-on, deflecting the blast with her own energy shield. Channeling the depths of her hope, she pushed back, turning Khan's aggression against him, forcing him to stagger. Jake seized the opportunity. His fingers flew across the console, activating systems that would reverse the flow of energy toward the crucible. He could feel the pulse of the facility synchronized with his heartbeat, the potential for both destruction and liberation humming through him like a siren song. Suddenly, the lights flickered, dazzling colors swirling around as alarms intensified. "No, you fool, what are you doing?" Khan shouted in rage, as Jake's actions began to destabilize the entire facility. With every ounce of resolve surging through him, Jake shouted, "Veyra!" Now, together, their energies intertwined, a fusion of resilience igniting like a supernova, illuminating every corner of the command center. Bracing himself against the impending fallout, Jake's heart thudded violently, readying for the potential cataclysm. A surge of brilliant energy erupted from the console, a pulse that sent shockwaves reverberating through the very foundation of the installation. The screens blinked ominously, showing images of chaos as the system began to collapse under the mounting pressure. In that moment of fierce unity, a sudden bright flash enveloped the space around them. The world twisted as reality contorted and then began to unravel, revealing glimpses of different galaxies, each in their turmoil, their suffering screaming for liberation. Veyra's voice broke through the chaos. "Focus, we cannot falter." As the command center transformed into a tempest of spiraling energies, Jake felt the winds of fate pushing them forward, unity fueling their defiance. "We're not just fighting for ourselves, but for every soul longing for freedom." The shadow of Khan loomed larger, charging at them in a final desperate attempt, eyes blazing with fury. "You shall not take my power," he roared, extending his hands to unleash every dark force he could summon. But the Chapter 5. Unity Beyond Stars The air crackled with tension as the shadows of Khan's minions loomed closer, their malicious intent palpable. Jake and Veyra were pinned against the cold walls of the command center, the metallic hum of the machinery surrounding them resonating with their growing dread. Just then, swirling energy erupted from Veyra's fingertips, illuminating the dimly lit room, her emerald skin glowing as she summoned her psionic power to obstruct the advancing threat. "Jake, we need to create a diversion." Veyra's voice was steady despite the chaos. "There's a console to your left. If you can access the power grid, we can overload it." With a nod, Jake made a split-second decision. He sprinted toward the console, dodging blaster fire that ricocheted off the walls like angry hornets. His heart raced as he feverishly tapped at the buttons, the minutes feeling like hours as he fought to muster the knowledge he wasn't entirely sure he had. Come on, he mumbled to himself, sweat beading on his forehead. Veyra continued to redirect the onslaught of attackers, her eyes burning with determination. You can do it, she shouted, her voice resonating with a fierce confidence that coursed through him. Finally, a series of alarms blared, and warning lights flickered like the heartbeat of the installation. I think I got it. We're about to blow this place to smithereens. Jake yelled, his voice filled with a mix of excitement and fear. At that moment, Khan's laughter reverberated through the chamber, dark and mocking. You really think you can escape, Hartman? The Crucible is the key to an empire, and you will die unremembered. Not if I have anything to say about it, Jake retorted, adrenaline fueling his resolve. With a flick of her wrists, Veyra unleashed a psychic pulse that knocked some of the minions off their feet, allowing Jake time to execute his plan. Set the overload for 10 minutes, he yelled over the din of chaos. Let's make it 5, Veyra responded coolly, her eyes narrowing with similar ferocity. We need to move. Just then, a familiar figure barreled through the double doors, clad in ragged armor but radiant with familiarity and friendship. It was Rusty, Jake's old comrade. Looks like you could use a hand. Rusty beamed, wielding an ancient, glowing weapon that pulsed with cosmic energy. Rusty, you old rogue, Jake exclaimed, the relief spreading through him like an electric current. I could kiss you, but focus on the bad guys. Count on me. Rusty winked, sprinting to the front lines, his energy blade cleaving through the shadows of Khan's forces, illuminating their faces with desperation and fear. Motivated by the return of his friend, Jake pushed against the tide of fear creeping back into him. As Rusty and Veyra kept the enemy at bay, he timed his words and actions with the discipline only a seasoned pilot could possess. All right, Veyra, follow my lead. The three fought as if they were part of a single mechanism, their attacks calculated and interwoven. Veyra focused her telekinesis, directing the flying debris from the remnants of the Crucible's shattered components against the oncoming hordes, while Rusty spun into a flurry of strikes with his energy weapon, illuminating the room in dazzling bursts of light. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for everyone oppressed under tyranny. Veyra shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos as she channeled every ounce of her energy into the battlefield. Remember, every being deserves a chance to choose their own fate. Jake added, rallying their spirits and determination. The tides began to turn. The oppressive forces staggered under the well-orchestrated torrent of energy and steel. As the chaos reached its peak, a surge of conviction rallied within Jake and Veyra. They exchanged glances, their telepathic connection deepening, knowing each other's thoughts, dreams, and hopes as the fight for freedom unfolded. With a booming roar, Jake finally grasped their chance. Now, together, he yelled. Veyra thrust her hands forward, summoning her psionic energy, and at the same moment, Jake activated his blaster, channeling his attacks toward the main console at the center of the room. In a blinding flash, a shockwave erupted, cascading through the command center, engulfing their enemies in spirals of radiant light. As if caught in a cosmic storm, Khan was flung backward, crashing against the metallic wall with a pained gasp. The room trembled, echoing the collapse of their adversaries' ambitions. As the dust began to settle, it was quiet, eerily still. Jake leaned against the console, catching his breath, his heart racing from the exertion, but more so from the sheer exhilaration of victory. He looked up and spotted Veyra wiping a tear from the corner of her eye, her expression a powerful mixture of triumph and vulnerability. Did we really do it? Jake asked, his voice wavering slightly. Together, Veyra answered softly, her radiant eyes shining brightly. "We've built a bond that transcends our worlds." The darkness of tyranny had been momentarily pushed back, yet looming shadows remained. Jake knew that while this battle might have been won, the war against oppression was far from over. Rusty approached, brushing dust and debris from his armor, a triumphant grin plastered across his face. "What an entrance, huh? But I think we've stirred up the hornet's nest. We need to regroup and warn the other factions," Veyra said, her voice rising above the cacophony of alarms blaring in disarray. "This victory must ignite a blaze of rebellion through the galaxies." "Let's get out of here," Jake urged. "The overload timer is still running." As they rushed back through the corridor, they could feel the seismic tremors from the impending destruction behind them. Jake suddenly turned to Veyra, his eyes searching hers. "You know, I thought I was just a mercenary, drifting through space, but you've changed that." Veyra smiled, a spark of light reflecting the chaos around them. "And you've shown me the strength of human spirit, the unyielding will that flows through all our veins. Together, we're unstoppable." They reached the ship, the Ulysses Asterisk, Rusty already at the controls. The engines hummed with life as they boarded, urgency propelling them forward. Jake dropped into the pilot's seat, heart pounding as he began their escape. "Ready?" Jake called over his shoulder. "With you?" "Always," Veyra replied, her voice steady like a pulse in the tumult. The Ulysses soared away from the installation just as the explosive force erupted behind them, a cataclysmic spectacle forever etching their names in the annals of rebellion. As they emerged from the chaos, space opened before them like a blank canvas. Amidst the starlit void, they understood that unity was their greatest weapon, a tapestry woven together with strands of hope, friendship, and the relentless desire for freedom. "Let's spread the message," Rusty beamed, waving his weapon triumphantly. "Tell the stories of our victories. It's time for our galaxies to stand together." "Yes," Veyra agreed, her voice rich with determination. "We'll inspire others to join our cause." Jake nodded resolutely, gazing upon the vastness of space around them. In that moment, he realized that they were not just pilots, warriors, or dreamers traversing the cosmos. They were emissaries of a new era, seeds of change, spreading across the stars. As they charted a course toward the uncertain depths of the universe, the stars twinkled like distant dreams, each flicker a reminder that their journey was far from over. And deep within those celestial bodies lay the stories waiting to be unearthed, adventures waiting to unfold. And as they sailed into the unknown, victory firmly etched in their hearts, they reflected on the idea that true strength lies not in dominance but in bonds formed through shared struggles. They were reminded that every star, every world, every being matters in the grand tapestry of existence, inspiring hope that one day, freedom would be a universal truth. The Ulysses glimmered in the dark, leaving behind the remnants of tyranny, and ahead lay countless horizons, bated breaths of possibility glowing on the edge of infinity. The galaxies awaited them, begging to reckon with the fate they were destined to rewrite, together. And so their story, intricately woven in courage and unity, found its place among the stars, an eternal testament to the indomitable spirit of freedom across the cosmos. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.